Hello, thank you for watching. If you could subscribe or leave a like or leave a comment, I'd appreciate it very much. Thank you very much for watching. So, taking a track off a digger now to get that idler. So what's our tensions for track is grease. It's a ram with a grease, with grease nipple under it. So before taking off, there's a little ball valve in there, like ordinary grease gun, grease nipple in. Use a screwdriver or something, just poke the end of it, make sure there's no pressure in it. If there's pressure in it, it'll come shooting out, from that, when you press it in, it'll come squirting out then. But I did this, there's no pressure in it. The track was a bit slack because the idler bearing isn't there, so we left it a bit slack anyway. But safety tip, check out to see if there's no pressure in it before unscrewing it out. When you unscrew it out, see there, when you push the idler in and the grease comes squirting out. So there's a ram inside here that pushes idler on to tighten track, and this is how we tighten it with the grease. Some diggers have a plate here, have to unbolt it to get that this in, but this doesn't. So then, well, I use this block first and try to lever it on, but I couldn't. So I put a piece of wood across here. So I lifted up with a blade, a bit off the ground. Put a piece of wood there and used the arm of the digger and the bucket just to push this back. You can see the grease is squirt out there. So it's slack now. Now I'll use a fencing bar to jam it in here and try to lift it over this idler, and maybe I'll jump in and put it to go a bit so it jumps off. And so we'll show that I'll get on with it after. So finally got the track off. It was quite a job, to be honest. Just to get it over, but it's the track's quite tight on it. There wasn't much slack to play with. So now I've got the idler off and I've got it apart. I'll show you now. So bolts came off and unbolted that. It was actually got this off. There's actually a roll pin through this, but I tried hitting that and didn't really want to move. So got it to thin grind disc down the side, get it off, and the bearings there's not much left of actual casings. And the shafts worn like that. Wheels back from machining. I'll put a picture here. I couldn't film what was going on because I had someone with me that doesn't like filming, so couldn't do it. So that's been bored out now, and there's two bearings each side now, and there's like the seal, that proper seal is, and there's like a big O-ring sort of thing. So put a seal in as well, and there was a hole for oil level there, changing oil in it, supposed to be gear oil in it. I put a grease nipple now so I can grease the bearings in, and a new shaft, the old roll pins in. Okay. And because the two bearings now, it's two bearings spaced out of it, so it's taking up the wear from side to side as well, so it's nice and tight now. So next thing now is, this is quite rusty in between. It's like anything with tracks, and if there's paint or rust in between, clean it off a grinder, or as it's vibrating, it might wear away the actual paint or rust, and it'll go slacken. So if you don't have any paint or rust to start with, it's a tight fit and it won't slacken when it's vibrating. So rust being quite softish, it'll sort of crumble and come out then, and it'll make it slacken. So best to clean anything like this, and faces that pull together. Okay. So here we go, clean the rust off. It's just where actually bolts you need to clean it off. So it's metal to metal, not rust to rust or paint to paint or anything like that. So it'll bolt together now, and it'll never sort of shake loose, well, hopefully. And So that's why you see people fitting steel tracks and all that, with clean paint off where they're actually bolting, so it doesn't wear away with vibrations and working. So I've got it near the digger again. I'll just show you now. So there's a grub screw there, like a drain and fiddle plug. It's supposed to be like gear oil on these old ones. But it's grease now, more simple, it won't leak out, you know. So before taking off, I actually got a hacksaw, made a cross there, and the other side where I made this a line and line, so we'll line it up. When I tried this on, sure it is, tried it on and cut the mark which way it would sit inside the track, so I could have a grease nipple on the outside. So I'm going to reach in and try to grease it from time to time. But it just slides in the rails here, so I've got a block of wood there stopping me push it right in just for safety, and I've got a blade down, so there's a support there. I'll jack it up and take that out and push it back in, so we can see the grease nipples on the outside now, so I can get it. I'll go to a point now, this is a better job than what it was, because it's got 4 bearings now and you can grease it, so it's quite a good job now. But this has cost in materials and machining half the price of a new one, so I started to buy the bits, the next thing I had a machine, so it's gone up. And yeah, if the other side goes, I'm just going to put a new one on it, to be honest with you, without my time and fuel to go fetch it then. So really, because I'm 3/4 way to, or over halfway, because to buying a new one anyway, you know, the cost. So yeah, there's no point trying to redo this. So learn from my mistake. Okay, bye from me for now then. So the track is back on after a lot of struggle. I had some help as well, I couldn't film. Anyway, I put the, you can see it in there, nipples back in there. Need to pump it up. So I think the specified for this is, say when you pump it up, there should be a gap from the bottom of the track to the undercarriage, about 4 inches I think. You know, put your foot down on it sort of thing, and it's only 4 inch. So I'll get pumping now, get it tightened up. I think what made it harder is the wheel was more, I don't know, it could turn easier, and yeah, it was just more straight, more tight really. Because the shaft is worn, it was more back, you know, so it was tighter getting back on. Same that taking off was a bit of a job, because the wheel could flop over and you could flop out the way sort of thing, you know, it wasn't solid enough. So really it was too solid, too tight and solid to put on, and it was too slack to take off. So but it was easy enough to have it half come off in the field. You could hear it sort of bang on these when it's sort of starting to come off idler, and you could hear it sort of bang, and when you put it in reverse it would jump back on. But it's sorted now, I'll get it tight and now it'll be fine for a while. Only bit of miss up there, because the digger was up in the air a bit, or a bit more on this, to try to get it back on with, you know, easier to push the bottom in. I did drop it down, get more slack, and then once it was on the wheel, try to lift it a bit so we could actually push the bottom in to try to get it on. But it was a fairly high jump into a cab. I jumped into a cab with all my might, and there's a little like peg size of my finger, say there, sticks out to hold the door, and it whacked me right in the shin. Oh, I was in pain. I was bent over, I got myself a seat and I was bent over, cursing like a sailor. Ooh. So I pumped it up until it was about 4 inch. When I jumped in and put it going high speed that way for a minute or something, put it away for a minute, just so it found its place on the rollers then. Well, on the idler and say sprocket, you know, fell into place a bit more. And I actually checked it after, and I had slackened a tiny bit. So now I've got about 4 inch there. I put a little, say go in the middle there, put a little pressure, it does go down a little bit. Put a little pressure, just check it, and pump out a little bit. And it's just nice now. The other side's pretty tight to me, but I'll turn around now while I'm at it and I'll check that so it's spot on. Okay, so new grease nipple is actually quite easy to get that. So just there, So it's quite handy now, I reckon, because usually it's just I think it's just supposed to be a little bit of gear oil in there as like a grub screw there. So whoever checks it, quite hard to get in there to slack him a grub screw as well. So now it'll be quite easy to get a grease gun there, give it a couple of pumps every year sort of thing. Should make the bearings last age of the girly. Be lubricated a bit all the time, and the grease won't actually just flow out of it. So good fix really. Only thing, like I said, it would be money wise, I'd be better off just buying a new one. But it's a better job anyway now. But I think if the other one goes, I'll just change it.